Dana Abercrombie, The Koalition. Thank you so much for speaking to me. This was an incredible film. And so I wanted to know from you, having your life adapted for the big screen, what would you say is the ultimate goal for not just you, but overall, what you would say for gamers and how they look at not necessarily just car racing, but are treated in general by, this can actually take us seriously.
Well, I hope after people watch the movie, they can say, okay, maybe I want to take this direction in gaming more seriously. I mean, right now, today, it's the best time in the gaming industry ever. It's the most lucrative. It's the most eyes on the industry. There's so many sponsors, manufacturers, companies, big multinational companies involved in gaming. You can make a career and support yourself financially by having an audience, whether that be through live streaming your content through gaming or being associated with brands. It's never been the better time to be involved in the industry. So whether people go and watch the movie and they go, okay, no, I'm going to take this seriously. There are it's the best time for you to be able to do that. So if somebody wanted to do that, all credit to them. Even with motorsport, motorsport esports is it's getting more popular. 12 years ago, esports and motorsport wasn't a thing at all. It wasn't a thing. Whereas now there's many race teams that have teams of the esports drivers earning money to support themselves. That's before you have an audience, your own audience. So I think it's great.
Do you view yourself as an innovator when it comes to taking something from video games and applying it to real life and being as successful as you are?
No, because I don't look at myself like that.
Mhm.
That's for other people to decide. For me, I just race my racing car. I race my racing car as fast as I can, and I still do that to this day. That's where my love is, my passion, my purpose is to do that. I'm not the one. I shouldn't be the one to come up with the tag. If people want to associate me with that, fine, but I'll let them decide that.
Can we talk about your transformation in the GT Academy? Looking back on your experiences now, what would you say is something that was you thought was really hard at the moment that you realized was kind of not say easy, but you really kind of was able to get through it?
I guess uh, experiencing, on the game, on Gran Turismo, with a steering wheel and pedals, all you have is the sensations you have are what you feel through your hands and what you see. When in real life, you have this third sensation, which is the your body feeling the car, the vibrations, what you feel through your back and through your backside, and
Mhm.
it's tuning that extra sensation with what you see with your eyes and what you're feeling from your hands. That takes time. It takes a long time to kind of match the senses. So I guess that everything else I was prepared to do. So uh, when back then, if you would have told me jump, I would have asked you how high, because if it's going to help me become a better racing driver, I would have done it. And it's still the
Mhm.
same to this day. I'm still, I pick up stones and try to find lap time. It's difficult, but it's part of developing.
Right. So what has both the Sims racing and also the real life racing given to you?
Given to me.
Yeah. And in
Um,
terms of just your character, how you look at things.
um, well, I think it's like any other industry. If you want to be successful at it, you have to put in time and effort, and you have to be dedicated to it. It's the same in any industry. So if you want to be successful in the gaming realm, whether that be live streaming or just being competent at the game, being the best, you have to put in hours. You have to look at yourself. You have to evaluate where I'm weak, where you're strong. But that's also the same for myself as a racing driver in real life. In reality, like I look at myself the same way. I want to be the best I can be, and you have to look at your weak areas and look at your strong points and improve them. it's a sport. It's why it's called esports. It's a sport. Like it's the best of the best. If you want to be the best, you got to put in the hours and dedicate yourself to ask yourself hard questions where you're weak and where can you improve.
Right. So with the release of this movie based on your life, I was wondering, do you look at all of the things that you went through kind of differently now that when you're out of it and also that it's on the big screen?
No, I don't look at them differently because when I went through them, there was whether that be positive or negative, it was always a thought process. I have a set processes I go through to evaluate said situation. So I'll look at the situation and go, okay, what could I have done differently? What happened? What could I have done differently? And how can I do something different to stop that happening again in the future? And that's how I move with everything. Um, so I'm already at a place where um, like I've understood the situation. So looking back, there's nothing new I find. Maybe like for nostalgia's sake or for just for a nice sense, fuzzy feeling of okay, that was fantastic. It's nice to look back, but I'm someone that likes to look forward or live in the present, but also plan for the future. Um, but yes, looking back at those moments is it's very rare that somebody has their best moment of their life captured on film. So
Mhm.
winning the GT Academy was my joint best moment I've ever had in my life. And so it was captured on film, but also now there's a movie be made about it, and they also feature that moment. So it's very strange. I'm very lucky to have that.
During the script or either the filming process, did you have a kind of a voice or give advice in certain scenes or narration?
Yeah, I was heavily involved in the script, so I've had every script that came through. Sony were great with that because they want to put out something which is represented of me, it's biopic. And on set, I was played myself as a stuntman, so I'm someone who loves racing films in general. So to have the racing to be a part of that creative process, to make the racing look as authentic as possible is what I wanted to do. Is what Neil, the director, wanted, and it was great. I've been heavily involved, and I'm forever blessed with that, really, because it's having your stamp on it is somewhat of a stamp is very cool.
Also, can you talk about that moment when you first got into the real car? Massive difference than Sims. Um, what was that feeling like to be driving at the speeds that you are?
When I first got into a GTR for the first time at Silverstone, um, I did a few laps with an instructor, and when I got out the car, I thought I cannot live. I couldn't live with myself not experiencing that ever again. So
Mm.
it was used as a fear. It's like I cannot go home after this and then not experience that ever again. And it's been like that ever since. I what I do is bliss to me. Racing a racing car is the best thing in the world, and it was back then. It still is to this day. It's very powerful.
Do you have any future goals in the racing world?
I want to go back to Le Mans in the top
Mhm.
class in LMP1 and hypercar. That's the target for next year. I'd like to do some racing in America. I've only done one race. Did the Sebring in 12 hours a few years ago. So I'd love to do again hypercar or LMP1 in IMSA. Um, some GT3 would be cool as well to do. Yeah, to continue on racing. So that's my plan for next year. Working on that currently.
Do we see you also in the future doing any stunt performing in future movies?
It's certainly yes. I'd like to because it's I've been opened up to an industry which I didn't know of really. I didn't know the stunt industry at all. But being involved with all those guys that have been involved in doing stunts since the 80s, sometimes 70s, is very, very cool. I loved how it was all put together. It was a lot of fun. The guys and girls with the stunt team were mega as well. And yeah, as long as it can fit around my racing, I'm all in.
Are you prepared for the huge success, everyone of knowing your name now?
No, because nobody can.
Okay. Thank you so much for speaking to me. A wonderful movie, an amazing life story.
Thank you. Nice talking to you.